is the world population going down? If I say, the human species is reducing in number, at an alarming rate, it may be very hard to believe. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why we believe it's neither a fear-mongering statement, nor a misleading propaganda. There is plenty of data available from reputable sources, including the UN's World Population Prospects, to prove that the human race is experiencing a decrease in number, rapidly than what we can imagine. Historically, we have seen the poorer nations have produced more children than the more advanced, richer nations. Sociologists and scientists used to believe, and propose a certain set of attributes, that contribute to such a situation. 1. The richer nations have better healthcare facilities, leading to less perinatal, infant, and child mortality. The citizens of poorer countries feel the need to produce more children per family, due to the fear that not all of them will survive. 2. The poorer nations have a lot of illiterate people, and don't have access to birth control. Hence, they end up having more children. 3. The couples of the poorer nations need multiple children, to share the burden of caring for them, during their old age, and so they end up having more children. We believe the richer countries came up with these half-baked ideas, based on incomplete knowledge, and published these reports without understanding the cultural and religious aspects of a nation. Their lack of humility, in what they don't comprehend, has kept these ideas become widely accepted by their own publications, and eventually, believed as universal truths. For several years, the data on reproduction of nations, based on their economic status, matched these theories, but not anymore. In the recent decades, even the poorer nations are not producing nearly as many children as they used to. We'll look at the data first, and then analyze the reasons later. First, we need to know the expression, fertility rate, because we'll use them throughout this video. Fertility rate is used in the context of a country, region, or the entire world. Fertility rate is the average number of children that would be born to a woman living in the geographical area whose value is calculated. The fertility rate of the entire world has been falling rapidly in the past 70 years, though until now, it has not gone below the point of replacement. That brings up the question, what is the replacement level of fertility? This is the level that will keep the population of the measured region unchanged, that is, it will neither go up nor down. That level of fertility rate, or replacement fertility level, is 2.1 per woman. Why is this level a little over 2? For starters, only women can give birth to children, and they have to compensate for the other 50% of the population, which is made up of men. But, if that's the case, shouldn't the number be 2, and not 2.1? That's a logical question, but the 2.1 number accounts for those children who don't live long enough to reach the reproductive age. Let's focus on the world's fertility rate first, and then go to specific countries. Based on the UN published reports, between 1950 to 2022, the world's fertility rate has decreased, from a high of almost 5.0, to the current level of 2.42, as per the latest 2022 data. The current fertility rate of 2.42, is still above the replacement fertility rate, of 2.1. So, we are not talking about dwindling population yet, as of 2022. It's the future trend that we are talking about. Let's extend this further, and see how the trend is getting to worrying level, as we progress further, towards the end of this century. The global fertility rate is expected to go down, below the replacement level, in a little over 40 years, and then from then on, the world's population will start to shrink. By the end of this century, the population reduction will reach 10% below replacement level, and may accelerate much further, then on. Population is reducing in most of the countries, at a rapid rate. Currently, the highest fertility rate is found in the African nations, than any other part of the world. In terms of fertility rate, the top 25 spots are occupied by the African nations, and in the top 50 nations with highest fertility rate, 41 are African nations. However, many of these countries have a low population base, and may not be the prime contributor of global population in the near future. In fact, the entire population of the continent of Africa is less than that of China, and about the same as in India. So, let's focus on the countries with the highest population first, and look at their fertility rates. As we said before, China tops the list as the country with the highest population. The fertility rate of China as per the latest report is slightly less than 1.7. This is about 20% less than the replacement level, which means China is likely to have a higher and higher percentage of older people in the coming years, and the nation's population is expected to shrink, starting 2022 or 2023. China followed a one-child policy since 1980, and realized the problem of a tilted demography, with higher number of older people, only recently. Though China has reversed its one-child policy to two, and later to three-children policy, in the past few years, it was too little too late. The second in the list on highest population is India. Whenever you see in Western television media, especially in European media, it's overwhelming to watch the sea of people in Indian cities. Of course, the Western media has had ulterior motives to produce visual content that show India in a very poor light. Looking at the pictures in the media, you jump to the conclusion, the population of India is exploding and bursting at the seams. Actually, the population growth of India has shown a steady and sharp decline in the past 5 decades. Currently, the fertility rate of India is 2.2, according to the recent survey by their health ministry. Divided by religion, the only group whose level is still above the replacement is Indian Muslims, which is around 2.3, while every other religious group, the fertility level is below the replacement level of 2.1, including the majority Hindus, whose level stands at 1.94. India's fertility rate is expected to go down quickly, and is expected to fall below 2.1 in the coming years. However, the actual reduction of population in India is expected to happen only after 40 years or more. Together, China and India combined account for around 35% of the world's population. So, a decline in their population precipitously affects the entire world. The third in the list by population is United States, with the fertility rate of 1.6, but the United States population is likely to stay the same, or increase, due to migration from other nations to the US. Of course, the economic conditions of the United States will affect the level of migration. Among the remaining countries in the top 10 by population, Nigeria with a fertility rate of 5.25, Pakistan with 3.4, and Indonesia with 2.27, are the ones having a higher number than the replacement level. The whole of Europe, as a continent, is doing very poorly, with a fertility rate of 1.61, and about half of their nations are below that number. Japan, with a current fertility level of 1.36, has had many years of low birth rates, and their population has started declining from 2021. Now the question one would like to know is, why is the population reducing so fast, in so many countries? We'll touch upon the basics on the causes for such a decline, but we'll look into them in greater detail in a separate video. Many studies conducted all over the world have found that the humankind is seeing a reduced reproductive health in both men and women since the start of the 21st century, though the trend may have started much earlier. We believe, based on available data, that this could be the primary reason why the population growth has drastically come down all over the world. Studies conducted in Japan first, followed by other countries, have revealed that the young people are far less interested in getting married or having children, and have become socially less inclined to settle into traditional families. In China, the cost of raising a child has gone up significantly, and there are many couples who have chosen the path of being childless, or not want to go above one child, even if the country's law allows them to do so. In India, except for a select few states, in the central and northern regions, all other states already have fertility rates below the replacement level, and subsequently the families with 2 children or more, has come down significantly. The rapid urbanization has added to the reduced family size as well. In Bangladesh, one of those countries, which has a very high population density, the reduction in fertility rate has been quite steep, happening in a very short period. In 2022, the fertility level is well below the replacement value of 2.1 and hovers around 2. About 3 decades ago, many nations were excessively worried about population explosion around the world, and nobody could have predicted, in 2022, we'll start to worry about a birth rate reduction, leading to subsequent demographic difficulties, and eventually a reduction in population. Thanks for watching.